If someone exhausts the sum insured, they can just get it restored. The policy allows that to do. Even for HDFC ERGO, the Optimus Secure policy, the accident, it can happen anytime. It doesn't choose whether you are a young or a old. There are some policies available where actually the no claim bonus is given irrespective of the claims of the year.
Hello and welcome to Insurance Junction, a podcast series by HDFC ERGO General Insurance, India's leading general insurance company. I'm your host, Avanne Dubash. And here's where we really simplify the world of insurance for our audiences to help you plan your finances, get experts to answer your questions so that you can pick the best plan for a better and secure future. In short, Insurance Junction is your one and only go-to podcast for everything insurance. Before we begin, let's first head out to the streets to see how much our audiences really know about insurance.
प्रीमियम शायद मेरे हिसाब से वो जो अमाउंट होता है
नहीं पता मुझे।
वो मुझे नहीं पता क्योंकि मैंने लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कराया ही नहीं है।
मुझे नहीं मालूम।
जिसमें मोस्टली चीज़ें इंश्योर हो जाती हैं।
नहीं, सम इंश्योर्ड इतना एग्जैक्टली नहीं पता।
सम इंश्योर आई थिंक इंश्योरेंस के बारे में रहता है। सम इंश्योरेंस में टोटल इंश्योरेंस रहता है।
वेटिंग मतलब पैसे के लिए तो अपने को वेटिंग करना ही पड़ता है ना।
टू वेट फॉर सम लॉन्ग टाइम।
इंतज़ार का समय जो मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड मुझे बहुत टाइम से दे रही है।
I have to say, these responses are alarming. But you know what? It is true. Sum insured, premium, waiting periods, coverage. Let's be honest, sometimes these terms may actually sound like Latin, right? It is pretty overwhelming, just trying to understand the nitty-gritties of your health insurance and what exactly you're paying for. So in our first episode today, we're going to be deep diving into the basics of health insurance. We're going to simplify insurance-related terms, answer your questions, and make sure that you're fully informed and ready to make decisions that work for you. Joining us on this episode is Parthanil Ghosh. He is the Director and Chief Business Officer at HDFC ERGO General Insurance. With over 30 years of experience in the insurance industry, Parthanil has been at the forefront of shaping customer-centric insurance solutions that simplify complex concepts for people like you and me. In today's episode, Parthanil will be answering some of the most common health insurance questions. He'll be breaking down the jargon and offering practical insights as to how to choose the right plan, how to understand your coverage, and actually ensure that you are making decisions that align with your unique and individual health and financial needs. So welcome to the podcast, Parthanil.
Thank you, Avan, for having me here.
Yes, and we will be starting off by exploring the fundamentals of health insurance in the segment Insurance Junction. So let's get to the basics. I think health insurance can really seem like a maze of jargon, especially for people who are not very familiar with it. So for someone who is just getting started out, what would you say are the top 3 terms that they need to familiarize themselves with and why?
It's a good question because normally we know that insurance is a matter of fine prints.
Yeah.
But for someone who is buying the insurance for the first time, I think 3 things, you mentioned 3 things to look after is coverage, sum insured, and the waiting period. What is a coverage? Coverage means whether the policy covers your outpatient treatment or hospitalization treatments. And within hospitalization, whether it covers all the diseases that are possible. That is the first one should look at. The second one is a sum insured. One should have an idea that what kind of an expense a medical hospitalization can have in today's day. And based on that, the person should have a sum insured, they should choose a sum insured. Now, in a number of policies, whenever a sum insured is taken, say for example a 5 lakhs sum insured in a year, and if someone exhausts the sum insured, right? So they can just get it restored. The policy allows that to do. Even for HDFC ERGO, the Optimus Secure policy, Even if a part of the sum insured is exhausted during the year, it can be restored. So the balance amount can be used for any claim during the policy period. And the third one, Avan, is the waiting period. Yes. So based on the pre-existing disease, if I have a pre-existing disease, then the waiting period ranges from 0 days to 3 years. Now, IRDAI, our regulator, has actually recently reduced the waiting period from 4 years to 3 years. Now, thankfully in HDFC ERGO, all our policies, especially our flagship Optimus Secured, did it for a long time that our waiting period is 3 years. That means if I have a pre-existing disease of diabetes, heart-related issues, then after 3 years, all these diseases and the hospitalization due to it will be covered under the policy. So these are the three things any new persons, he or she is trying to get into our policy should be looking at.
Okay, coverage, sum insured, and waiting period.
Exactly.
That's important. Now let's talk about costs, because I think that's the first thing that comes to people's mind. And medical inflation, I believe, is at about 14%. So, for instance, the cost of an angioplasty has escalated from what it was in the year 2018 to now about 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 lakhs. By 2030, it's going to go up even more. What is the message that you really want to emphasize when it comes to personal health insurance and personal claims? Because a lot of the time, the corporate claims don't actually cover these escalating costs.
This is something which I think as a country, we should be extremely concerned of. Firstly, there are two things that are happening, Avan. First, the young people are not buying health insurance because they are saying, we are young, we are fit.
Who needs it now? Yeah.
Yes, why now? But when they will require it at the age of 45, 50, we do not know what kind of pre-existing diseases will be there or what has happened during that time. And thirdly, the accident, it can happen anytime. It doesn't choose whether you are a young or a old. So people have to buy at a young age so you can beat the medical inflation in the initial years, and hopefully there will be no claims, and thereby your sum insured is going to increase. That is the first. Second is that the corporate policies are tied with your employment. As you have rightly said, Avan, that it doesn't cover everything.
Yeah.
Even if after someone leaves a job, you do not know what kind of coverage the new employer will give, right? So thereby, one should have their own insurance at a very young age, adjust the sum insured based on the location that where they are present. If they are in a metro tier 1 towns, their sum insured has to be higher. If they are in a tier 2 or tier 3 towns, then of course their sum insured can be lower. But this is second. Third one is very importantly, while I'm fit, while I have no disease, then every 3 to 5 years, I should increase my sum insured appropriately by looking at newspapers, magazines, just maybe going into the internet and searching the cost of treatment of some of the diseases. So that if I start with 5 lakhs, maybe after 3-4 years, I can increase it to 10 lakhs.
So I think the messaging would be to start as soon as you possibly can.
And have your own individual policy and not only depend on rely on the employer policy.
Yeah. Now, some of this data is pretty startling. The fact that India, as of 2023, 60% of the health expenses were out of pocket. I want you to talk about the importance of choosing the right policy. For a first-time buyer, what are the important factors that they need to consider? And are there any specific features you think that they should be prioritizing to ensure that they are getting the adequate coverage?
So, adequate coverage is something that there are two kinds of policies. That one is OPD, as I mentioned, for outpatient treatments, and one is for hospitalization, which in the insurance jargon is known as IPD, inpatient coverage. Now, in the inpatient coverage, we should see that it covers all the diseases. It doesn't exclude anything. They should also see what is the waiting period. Number 3, they should see that there are no sublimits. Number 4, that they should look at that whether there are restorations available. Number 5, whether there are no-claim bonuses, adequate no-claim bonuses, which will increase the sum insured year after year while I'm fit. There are some policies available where actually the no-claim bonus is given. irrespective of the claims of the year.
If I may come in here, how important is it as well to ensure the reputation of the brand reputation and the company that you're taking the insurance from?
Avan, I will answer it in two parts.
Okay.
The regulator in India, the IRDAI, is very, very strong. Very strong in terms of governance. So at least today, whichever companies are there is no risk of anyone losing their claims because the company is unable to pay it. The governance is very strong. However, we don't buy a policy for today. A person of the age of 30 buys a policy maybe for the age of 60 when he or she will get hospitalized.
Yeah.
So they should also keep it in mind that this particular brand from whom they are buying this health insurance, whether they are building the company for the next 30 years and 40 years. And thereby it is very important to see how is the brand reputation.
Yeah.
One. Secondly, all the organizations actually put their claims data in the public domain.
Yes.
So just to see what is their payout ratio. Out of 100 claims, how many claims are they paying and not settling, paying. It
That
is
is
very, very important to see that. By that, they can choose the health insurer on that day.
And
Not
that's
on-
publicly available.
That is publicly available, and not only look at the premium rate.
Yeah.
Because premium rate is a very, very small portion. Because when they have to get the claim of the amount of the sum insured, which may be 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, that time this brand reputation and the claim payout statistics or the trends of the past should not haunt them.
Okay, that is absolutely critical, and I don't think anyone would have thought of that, so thank you for that. Let's talk about no claim bonus. I think many people have heard the term, but do they really know what it is? Perhaps, yes, you get that bonus when a policyholder does not actually avail or make any claims during the year, but how exactly does it work, and what is it that people need to know about no claim bonus?
So NCB means no claim bonus. If a policyholder doesn't claim during that policy period of that year, then he or she is eligible to get a bonus which normally ranges from 10% to 50%.
Okay.
That means if it is a 10% no claim bonus, that means this year's sum insured of 5 lakhs increases to 5.5 lakhs without any change of the premium. The second thing is very, very important that there are policies available where this no claim bonus is also available irrespective of the claim status. In HDFC ERGO, the Optima Secure, our flagship product, we have a feature called Plus Benefit. The Plus Benefit gives you a 50% no claim bonus irrespective of the claim status. And the next year it goes up to 100%.
Okay.
Means in 2 years, the policy sum insured increases by 2x without any additional premium, and most importantly, irrespective of the claim status. So this feature is very, very important because as I mentioned that, and you also mentioned that there is a medical inflation of 14%.
Yes.
So if there is no claim in general, for HDFC ERGO it doesn't matter, but for them, they can beat the inflation through this no claim bonus, which increases from 10 to 50%. Normally for us, it is 50% per year. So you are beating the medical inflation of 14%.
I think that is going to be music to any policyholders' ears as well, the fact that they can beat inflation. Well, that brings us to the end of this segment, Insurance Junction. It sure was insightful, but the doubts never end, so let's keep the questions going. We've got lots of your questions from the audiences, from the customers, actually getting answered by Parthanil. So Parthanil, are you ready for the audience questions?
Yes, sure.
Okay, let's dive straight into it. Our first question is coming in from Latika Jha. She says that she's about to have a baby and she wants to make sure that the baby is covered under her health insurance. So she's asking, what should I add or when should I add my newborn to the policy, and are there any special plans for babies?
You can add your baby. The regulation allows that from the first day, the baby can be added. Most of the insurers allow it. Typically, what we have seen that parents do add their babies within the first month to third, fourth month, and that is possible.
All right, Latika, hope we got your question answered. Congratulations and do have a wonderful pregnancy. Let's move on to our next question, which has been sent in to us on the Instagram handle at HDFC ERGO GI. It's from Umran Riaz, and he asks, I'm 65 years old, and he says, I have type 2 diabetes. Can I still buy health insurance, and will it include the coverage of my diabetes?
Very, I think, very timely question. But
Yeah.
this first thing I would like to say that thank you for raising this question. At the age of 65, having a diabetes, type 2 diabetes is not abnormal. Yes, you can get covered. Of course, the pre-existing disease conditions may apply. However, there are certain policies available which cover diabetes even from day one. The good news is, yes, you can get covered.
Okay, great. Specifically for diabetes. Thanks, and I hope we got your question answered. Let's get a move on. And Sonia Rajan has sent in the next question. She says, my father needs weekly dialysis and filing a claim each time is quite cumbersome. So are there any health insurance plans that make this process more convenient?
We at HDFC ERGO thought about it almost 1.5 years back. And we decided to allow approval for one time for all the sessions that the doctor has prescribed. So if the doctor has prescribed for 10 sessions for dialysis, you can come to us and take a one-shot approval, provided the treatment is taken in the same hospital and under the same doctor. If there is any changes that the doctor proposes during the treatment, of course, you have to come back once again. So at HDFC ERGO, at least, we allow you to take only once the approval for the dialysis, and then for the balance period, please take care of your father and his health.
Absolutely. Sonia, I hope we were able to answer that question of yours. And Parthanil, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of this episode. You have very patiently demystified a lot of these, the jargon when it comes to health insurance, and I'm sure a lot have benefited. We also spoke about the importance of picking out the right health insurance and how you can get started to insure yourself and your family. So thank you so much for joining in, Parthanil, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you, Avanne.
And to the lovely audience, if you've got any questions or queries, do write into us and we'll make sure to get them answered. All you have to do is DM us on Instagram at HDFC ERGO GI and we'll get them answered for you in the next episode. Have a doubt? Say it out. Well, that's my cue to exit. I will see you guys in the next episode of Insurance Junction, a podcast series by HDFC ERGO General Insurance, India's leading private sector general insurance company. Till then, get insured, stay assured. This is your host, Avanne Dubash, signing out. Hey guys, you know the drill. To never miss an episode, hit the bell icon. If you want to stay abreast with all the insurance news, subscribe to our channel, HDFC ERGO, right here on YouTube. And if you want to listen to the audio episode, it's available on all audio streaming platforms.